I didn't catch my wife cheating at a hotel, or through texts, or some cliché like lipstick on a collar. I caught her in a yoga class, in a position that had absolutely nothing to do with yoga. I still feel sick thinking about it. We've been married for 6 years. Nothing perfect, but nothing broken either, or at least that's what I thought. Her name's Alina. She got into yoga about a year ago, said it helped her find balance and clear her mind. At first I was supportive. Bought her a mat, even joked that maybe I'd join someday. But slowly, things started to feel off. She began going more often. First twice a week, then almost every day. Her sessions got longer too. A 1-hour class somehow turned into 2, sometimes 3. When I asked, she'd say they were doing advanced breathing exercises or meditation after class. She also started dressing differently. Not just for yoga, in general. More revealing outfits, more makeup before classes, which didn't make sense to me. Who puts on full makeup just to sweat it off? At first I brushed it off. Told myself I was overthinking. Everyone deserves a hobby, right? But then came the little things. She stopped telling me details about her day. Her phone was always face down. If I walked into the room, she'd suddenly lock it. Once, I saw a notification pop up, just a name, no message, saved as Y. When I asked who it was, she said it was one of the girls from yoga. I didn't believe her. Something in my gut kept screaming that something wasn't right. One evening I suggested we go out for dinner, just the two of us, like we used to. She hesitated. Checked her phone. Then said she had a special session that night and couldn't miss it. That's when it really hit me. She chose yoga over me. Again. I didn't argue. Just nodded. But that night, I couldn't sleep. Honestly, I wanted to feel stupid. I parked a little further away so she wouldn't see my car. My hands were shaking as I got out. My heart was pounding so hard I could hear it in my ears. The place looked normal from the outside. Soft lighting, calm music leaking through the windows. Peaceful. Innocent. That almost made it worse. I walked in quietly. The front desk was empty. No receptionist, no one greeting me. Just a dim hallway leading to the main room. I could hear voices. Low. Intimate. Not like a class. More like laughter. Whispering. I moved closer, each step heavier than the last. Part of me wanted to turn around, to leave before I saw something I couldn't unsee. But I kept going. I reached the doorway and stopped. And that's when everything inside me shattered. She wasn't doing yoga. She was on the floor, but not in any pose I'd ever seen before. The trainer, some guy I'd only heard about in passing, was way too close to her. His hands weren't correcting posture. They weren't guiding anything. They were on her like they belonged there. And she wasn't pulling away. She was smiling. That's the part that broke me the most. Not the betrayal itself. Not even the fact that it was happening right there, in a place she had convinced me was about peace and healing. It was the way she looked at him. Like I didn't exist. Like I never had. I froze. I don't even know how long I stood there. Seconds. Minutes. My brain just shut down. Everything went quiet except for that one thought repeating over and over. This isn't real. But it was. She laughed at something he said, her hand brushing against his chest like it was the most natural thing in the world. And then he leaned in closer, whispering something into her ear. That's when something inside me snapped back to life. I pushed the door open. It wasn't loud, but it was enough. They both turned. Her face changed instantly. That soft, almost glowing expression disappeared, replaced by pure shock. Her eyes widened, her mouth opened slightly, like she wanted to say something but didn't know where to start. The guy just stepped back, hands up slightly, like he'd been caught doing something he knew he shouldn't. No one spoke for a second. Then I finally said it. Really? My voice sounded strange. Too calm. Too controlled. She stood up too quickly, almost stumbling. Wait, this isn't what it looks like. I laughed. Actually laughed. Because of course she said that. Of course she did. It's exactly what it looks like, I said, stepping further into the room. You didn't even try to make it look like yoga. The guy cleared his throat. Hey man, I think. Don't, I cut him off, not even looking at him. You don't get to talk. He went quiet. Alina stepped toward me, her hand slightly raised like she was approaching a wild animal. Please, just listen to me, she said, her voice shaking now. You're misunderstanding. Misunderstanding what? I snapped, finally losing that calm edge. That you're here every day. That you lied about meditation. That you suddenly care more about this place than your own husband. Her eyes filled with tears instantly. And for a split second, I almost felt something. But then I remembered how she looked at him. And it was gone. It's not like that, she whispered. We were just. Don't, I said again, quieter this time. Just don't lie. Not right now. She stopped. Silence filled the room again, but this time it was heavier. Suffocating. The guy slowly grabbed his things, clearly trying to disappear from the situation. Yeah, I'm gonna give you guys a moment, he muttered, heading toward the exit. I stepped aside without even acknowledging him. He walked past me quickly, avoiding eye contact. Coward. As soon as the door closed behind him, it was just us. Me and the woman I thought I knew. I didn't mean for you to find out like this, she said finally, her voice breaking. That sentence hit harder than anything else. Not I'm sorry. Not it's not true. Not I made a mistake. Just. I didn't mean for you to find out. So there is something to find out, I said slowly. She wiped her tears, shaking her head. It just happened, she whispered. I didn't plan it. I was feeling lost, and he was there, and he understood me in a way you didn't. I actually stepped back at that. Are you serious right now? I said. You're blaming me. I'm not blaming you, she said quickly. I'm just saying, things between us haven't been the same for a while. I stared at her. All those nights I thought everything was okay. All those moments I trusted her. Supported her. Believed her. And this is what it meant to her. So instead of talking to me, I said, my voice dropping lower, more controlled again, you decided to do this? She didn't answer. That was answer enough. I looked around the room, the mats, the soft lights, the peaceful music still playing like nothing had happened. It felt like a joke. Every time you said you were here, I said slowly, this is what you were doing. She hesitated. That hesitation said everything. My chest tightened. How long? I asked. She looked away. How long, Alina? A few months. I nodded slowly. Months. Not a mistake. Not a moment. A choice. Repeated over and over again. Wow, I whispered, more to myself than to her. She stepped closer again, reaching for my arm. I can fix this, she said desperately. Please, just give me a chance. It didn't mean anything. I pulled my arm away. Don't touch me. She flinched like I'd hit her. And maybe, in some way, I had. I don't even know who you are right now, I said. You lied to me every single day. Looked me in the eye and lied. I was scared, she cried. I didn't want to lose you. You already did, I said. That shut her up. The tears kept coming, but she had nothing left to say. And honestly, neither did I. I turned toward the door. Where are you going? She asked, panic rising in her voice. Home, I said without looking back. To pack my things. Wait, no, please, we can talk about this. There's nothing left to talk about. My hand was already on the door when she said it. It didn't mean anything. I paused. For just a second. Then I looked over my shoulder. It meant enough for you to risk everything. And with that, I walked out. The drive home felt unreal. I don't remember traffic. I don't remember the road. I just remember gripping the steering wheel so hard my hand started to hurt, like if I loosened my grip for even a second, everything would fall apart. Maybe it already had. I kept replaying it in my head, her face, her voice, the way she tried to twist it into something less ugly than it really was. It didn't mean anything. That line echoed louder than anything else. If it meant nothing, then what did I mean? I pulled into the driveway and just sat there for a minute. The house looked the same. Quiet. Still. Like it had no idea what had just happened. Like it was still ours. I walked inside slowly. The smell of her perfume hit me immediately. It was everywhere. On the couch, in the hallway, even in the air. Things I used to find comforting suddenly felt wrong. Fake. I went straight to the bedroom. Her side of the bed was perfectly made. Mine was a mess. Just like always. It hit me how normal everything still looked, and that somehow made it worse. I opened the closet. Half of it was hers. Clothes I had seen her wear, outfits she had probably worn to those classes. I just stood there, staring at them, trying to connect the woman I saw earlier with the one I thought I knew. I couldn't. I grabbed a bag and started throwing my things in. Shirts, jeans, whatever I could reach. I didn't care about folding anything. I just needed to get out. Halfway through packing, I stopped. My eyes landed on something sitting on the dresser. Her phone charger. For a second, I just stared at it. Then it clicked. She had rushed out earlier. In a hurry. She probably forgot her charger. Which meant, her phone might still be here. My heart started racing again, but this time it wasn't shock. It was something colder. I walked into the living room. And there it was. Her phone. Sitting on the coffee table. Unlocked. I don't know if she forgot to lock it, or if she didn't expect me to come back, or if she just got careless after months of getting away with it. But it was right there. And I picked it up. Part of me didn't want to look. Because once you see it, you can't unsee it. But I had already seen enough. So I opened her messages. It didn't take long. His name wasn't even saved properly. Just a letter, why? I opened the chat. And there it was. Weeks. No, months of messages. Flirty at first. Harmless on the surface. Jokes, compliments, little inside references. Then it got worse. Way worse. Plans. Times. Days she told me she'd be busy. Messages about how much she needed him. Things she never said to me. Pictures. I stopped there for a second, my stomach twisting. But I kept going. Because apparently, I hadn't hurt myself enough yet. There were voice notes too. I didn't even need to play them. The timestamps were enough. Late at night. Early mornings. Times she was right next to me, pretending to sleep. I felt something inside me just go quiet. No more anger. No more shock. Just emptiness. It wasn't just physical. It wasn't just a mistake. It was a whole second life. And I had no idea. I locked the phone and set it back exactly where it was. Like it could undo what I had just seen. But it couldn't. Nothing could. I went back to the bedroom and finished packing. This time faster. No hesitation. No pauses. There was nothing left to process. About 20 minutes later, I heard the front door open. Her voice. Hello. I froze for a second. Then I kept packing. Her footsteps got closer, quicker, more frantic. She walked into the bedroom and stopped dead. You're actually leaving, she said quietly. I didn't respond. She stepped inside slowly, like she was afraid of what I might say. Please, she said again. Don't do this. I zipped up the bag. Don't do what? I asked without looking at her. React to what you did. I said I was sorry, she snapped, her voice rising slightly. What else do you want from me? I turned to face her. Sorry. I repeated. You think that covers months of lying? Her eyes filled with tears again. I didn't know how to stop, she whispered. That line almost made me laugh. You didn't know how to stop, I said slowly. But you knew how to start. She flinched. That's not fair. Nothing about this is fair, I cut in. You had every chance to tell me. Every single day. I was scared, she said again. You weren't scared when you were with him. That hit. She went quiet, her lips trembling. I picked up my bag. I saw your messages, I added. Her head snapped up. What? All of them. The color drained from her face instantly. You went through my phone, she said, like that was the problem. I just stared at her. That's what you're worried about right now? She didn't answer. Because there was nothing she could say. I know everything, I said. So don't insult me by pretending this was nothing. She started crying harder now, her whole body shaking. It didn't mean what you think it means, she said between sobs. I was just confused, I didn't. Stop. My voice came out sharper than I expected. She stopped immediately. I'm done listening to excuses, I said. I'm done pretending this is something it's not. She took a step toward me. So that's it? She asked. You're just going to throw everything away? I shook my head slowly. I'm not the one who threw it away. That silence again. Heavy. Final. She looked at me like she was seeing me for the first time. Maybe she was. Where are you going? She asked quietly. Does it matter? It does to me, she said. I paused. Then sighed. I'm staying with a friend. For now. She nodded weakly, like she didn't expect anything more. I walked past her. This time, she didn't try to stop me. I reached the front door, opened it, and stepped outside. The air felt different. Colder. Or maybe that was just me. As I got into the car, I looked back at the house one last time. And for the first time since all of this started, I didn't feel confused. I didn't feel shocked. I felt certain. Certain that whatever we had was already gone long before I walked into that room. I didn't go back. Not the next day. Not the day after that. At first, she kept calling. Dozens of missed calls. Messages that went from apologies, to excuses, to anger, and then back to apologies again. I made a mistake. It didn't mean anything. Please come home. We can fix this. I read them once. Then I stopped opening them. Because every time I did, I felt that same knot in my chest tighten all over again. I stayed at my friend's place. Slept on his couch. Barely slept at all, if I'm being honest. My mind kept replaying everything, but something inside me had already made the decision. There was nothing left to save. A few days later, I went back to the house. Not to talk. Not to fix anything. Just to get the rest of my things. She was there. Sitting at the kitchen table, like she'd been waiting. Her eyes were red. She looked smaller somehow. Like everything had finally caught up to her. When she saw me, she stood up quickly. Can we talk? She asked, her voice quieter than I'd ever heard it. I set my keys down on the counter. We already did. That wasn't talking, she said. That was you leaving. I sighed. There's nothing you can say that changes what happened. She walked closer, slower this time. I ended it with him, she said. I didn't react. Right after you left. I told him it was a mistake, that I chose you. I let out a short breath. You chose me? I repeated. After months of choosing him. She froze. I'm trying to fix this, she said desperately. I'm trying to make it right. I looked at her. Really looked this time. And all I could see, was someone I didn't recognize anymore. You can't fix something you broke on purpose, I said quietly. Tears filled her eyes again. I didn't think it would go this far, she whispered. It always does. Silence settled between us one last time. I walked past her and went to the bedroom, grabbed the rest of my things, and packed them without saying another word. When I came back out, she was still standing there. Waiting. Hoping. Is this really it? She asked. I picked up my bag. Yes. Her voice cracked. After everything we had? I paused for a second. Then shook my head. What we had, ended a long time ago. I just didn't know it yet. That broke her. She sat down, covering her face, crying harder than before. But this time. I didn't feel anything. No anger. No sadness. Just, closure. I walked to the door, opened it, and stepped outside without looking back. And for the first time in a long time, I felt like I could finally breathe. If you enjoyed this story, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. I post new Reddit stories about cheating, relationships, and crazy life situations every day. And if you have a story like this, feel free to share it in the comments.